Okay, so this is the artwork that we're going to be doing today, and we'll start with talking about all of our supplies. Hi, second graders. We're going to do our art lesson today, which is a winter self-portrait. So what you want to start off with is getting all of your supplies. So we have this brown paper underneath to protect the surface, 2 pieces of white paper. One is a little bit thicker and one is a little bit thinner. Make sure you have one of each. You want the white paper plate, a pencil, the Sharpie, glue stick, scissors, your bag of oil pastels, the watercolor paints and paintbrush, and then your cup of water to clean your brush. The next thing after you get everything set up is for the heavier piece of paper, you want JRES, your name, and then your teacher's name. And if you're a remote student, just write second grade and write both Breholds and Millar on the back. So once you have all of your supplies set up, your name on the back of the heavier paper, then let's start again. In the meantime, and we can pause here. Okay, now that everyone has all their materials, we're going to start with this paper plate. And this plate is just we're going to use as a template. So template means that it is used as a tool, but it doesn't go into our final artwork. So what I did is I already did this step, but essentially, if you look at the paper plate, it has this indentation that comes around here. And what we're going to do is we are going to cut out a circle from here about 1/2 of an inch from this line. So you can see, like, I just cut on one side and then I followed that around so I have a perfect circle. So let's do that step and pause. Okay, so now everyone has their circle cut out, and this part of the paper plate we don't need anymore, so we can put that aside. We take our circle and we put it onto the thin piece of paper, and we want to put it about 1 inch from the side of our paper, so we have about 1 inch. Here we're doing math and art together. So what I want to do is with my pencil, I want to lightly trace. We're not pressing down hard here. We're just lightly tracing our template circle. Okay? And then again, once we do that, we're done with this template, so we can set that aside. So here we have a circle on our lightweight piece of paper, and this is going to be for our head of our portrait. We want to think about adding in the ears now, which is not a normal step when you're doing a portrait before you do the facial features, but ears are about halfway down on the side of the head. So, and a lot of people think about ears as, in the art world, as kind of seashell shapes, but you can also think about it as just like a little line like that on both sides. So this is like a flat kind of C, and then this is kind of like a backwards kind of C. And they have this nice kind of organic shape to them. Then what we're going to do is we're going to draw in our hair. And remember, hair has volume. Volume means there's space to our hair, right? Our hair doesn't just sit flat on our head. So most of this hair is going to be covered up with a hat. A hat and mittens is going to be part of our artwork. But on the sides of our head, imagine like your hat's going to go up here, you might see a little bit of the hair. So you can draw that in. Imagine my hair kind of sits on top of my head, and then my hairline kind of comes from here. Some people are going to have bangs. I'm going to do a line like this, that it goes kind of to the ear. So you can see my part is over here. And my hairline over here goes like that. So the reason why I don't press hard with my pencil is because I'm going to want to erase this line here that was part of my head, because obviously we don't see that, right? That goes underneath your hair. So that's why it's so important not to press down too hard. Okay, so why don't everybody do those steps, and then we will pause here. Okay, we're on to our next step. So this is what we have so far. On our lightweight piece of paper, we have the shape of a head with ears and hair. Now the next step is that we're going to cut this out so that we can make sure that our hat fits our head. So everyone cut out your shape here. So, and we're going to use the rest of this paper for our mittens and our hat. So we want to make sure we don't cut into that. So for example, I'm just cutting around right on the line. Okay, so everyone do that, and we will see you in a few. Pause. Okay, second graders, so you can see that I cut out the head with the ears and the hair. And with the rest of my paper here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my head down here, and then I want to create the shape of my hat. So again, remember that the rest of this paper is for your mittens and for your hat. So make sure that you save enough space for those mittens. So the hat, again, we're layering things on top, right? So we layered this hair on top of our head. We're going to layer a hat on top of all of this. So the hat, whatever shape you want to do, but it needs to come out. So you can actually move the head down to about there. So you have about, let's say, 1/2 inch of the ears exposed or overlapped with the paper. And now I'm going to draw the outline of my hat. So for me, I'm going to do a hat that kind of comes over here. And my hat's going to have like a pom-pom with some texture on it. And then it's going to come down like that. Okay? And you can imagine like underneath now where you're going to have this hat line. So for me, I had the hat come almost to the ears. So I'm really not even going to see too much of my hair. But I don't have bangs, so that's usually what I look like with a hat. So now you pick this up. Here's the outline of the hat, and then you want to have the shape where it comes across your forehead. So that's the shape of my hat. And after you have it drawn like this, then you can think about your mittens. So for my mittens, have you guys ever heard that your hand is about the same distance as your face? So you can think about that from a perspective of how big you want these mittens, but also consider how much space you have on your paper. So you're going to want a left and a right mitten. So it can kind of, can you see what I'm doing here? Okay, and move up. You can come over. And here's the thumb part. Okay, and if you want, what you can do is then you can take this mitten and you can trace it to make your other mitten. So let's pause here. We'll cut these two out and then go on to the next step. So we can pause.